Hi everybody, Jessie here. So this is my first attempt at a voiceover, and I'm doing a layout with my Scraptastic kit for the month of November. And I was just showing you the papers very briefly, and I'm trimming out my photos of my son. He's sitting in a race car. We're kind of track rats, as you'll see later in the video. And I'm mounting the photos onto the charcoal cardstock that came in the kit. And I'm just leaving like a 1/16 of an inch border around them. And I'm just going to cut that out just to give it a little bit more emphasis and definition and things of that nature. Sorry about my head there. Um, so I'm sorry if this voiceover is really bad because I've never done this before, but that's okay. So I'm just kind of flipping through. I honestly have absolutely no idea what I'm doing here. I got this kit and I was so stoked to get this kit, and then I didn't know what to do with it. So the hello paper is from Pebbles from Me to You collection, and it's called The Message. And then the heart paper is Amy Tangerine's cut and paste, and it is the Infatuation paper. I'm going to end up cutting those shorter and only using bits and pieces of it, but for now. And then I'm playing with this paper right here from the Finley collection, and it is the floral. And I end up completely getting rid of that and changing it here for this, for the ombre basics paper or essentials paper from Echo Park. I just find that it added a little bit more than having too much just black and white and very plain light colors in behind. So that's where I'm cutting down. I'm starting to cut down the heart paper and the hello paper and everything, and kind of figuring out what my sizes are going to be. So we're going to mess with that for a couple of minutes. Oh, and then I'm going to outline everything twice with a black Sharpie. It's just a thin point marker. It's called a Sharpie pen, and I really like them. It seems to write on virtually anything. I've wrecked a couple on paint and things of that nature, of course, because they don't do well with paint. But for the most part, I love them. They aren't crazy expensive. I go through a ton of them. Use them for everything, journaling, outlining, faux stitching, you name it, I use it. So I'm just going to go through and do all of these pieces in this, so you're going to watch me outline for a very, very long time here. This is also like my first real complete process video where I'm going to talk the whole way through it, so I'm not sure if anybody's going to enjoy these or not, so just like leave me a comment below and let me know. We're coming close to the end here. I promise. This layout took me just over an hour to do, start to finish. So there you can see where I paused and left and came back, and now I actually had to restart my computer is what happened. So now I'm just kind of starting to lay it all together and figure out exactly how I want my layers to go. And then we're just going to start adhering it so that I can make sure that everything's lined up straight. Like I'm basing, where the hello is based on the bottom of the hearts. And I know they're not lined up there, but when I glue these on, I'm going to kind of line them up on either side, following where the triangle pattern is in the ombre paper. And then figure out how much I want sticking out. And I'm going to go and put my photos back on top. And here, I made a complete, it's just a tag book of every spray, like mist, color mist, I own, of anything. Heidi Swap, Lindy Stamp Gang, Delusions, Tattered Angels, Mr. Huey's, they're all in there. So then I can just kind of flip through and see exactly what I want and match up my colors and everything else. So, and I went with two Heidi Swaps there. The one is mint green and the other is the white. So I think they're both new colors. I do believe. I'm not 100% positive about the mint greens. So shake, shake, shake. And then I'm going to pull out my, now I'm going to run into problems. Now everything is going to go fuzzy because I have autofocus on, and I now know better to take it off next time so that I don't have to fight with the stamp set to try and keep getting it to focus. And now I'm just kind of sprinkling it on. Of course I was being silly and completely didn't take into consideration that the color isn't going to look the same on the red paper as it does on the white paper. But I do still like the green spots in the background. They turned out to look more gray, which is fine because I used gray in the layout, and you'll see later, like the thickers that came in the kit are also from the layout. This is the white, and to be quite honest, I don't like her white. It dries very, very translucent. I have two other whites. I have the Mr. Huey's and the Delusions, and both are slightly more opaque than this, so I'd probably use those next time. And now we're back into focus, and here we go again. So now I'm just going to adhere the layout. I'm going to adhere all the layers and the pictures down onto the red piece of back cardstock. And these are the Pebbles picture frame hanging tags. And I think I'm going to use the dark one at the start, and then I'm looking for one maybe for the bottom. Then I switch to the teal, and then I finally settle on the red dots. And I cut off the top, and I cut it in half because, yes, I will use the other half, and I am greedy and might as well use it twice instead of once if I can. And then I can't find the little piece of string, which I do eventually find, but I end up going into my stash and pulling out, it is called a Scrapper's Spool, and the color's Midnight, and it's from Karen Foster's Designs. So I picked that up at a local scrapbooking store in Moose Jaw when I was there. And so I just cut some of that off and tie it back on the top. And then I'm going through the die cuts because I hadn't even really looked at them yet. And I pull out the feather that I went past already after I popped that out because it bugs me. I pull out the feather and I don't end up using it. So all of that was really a big waste of time. And then I start going through the little tags, and that's the Goodness tag and that arrow. Those are the two that I'm going to use, and that's from the Ormolu cut apart sheet that comes in the kit. And then I checked these out, and I saw the BU right away, and I was like, ooh, that's perfect. My son is completely obsessed with cars, you guys. Like, that kid will spend 3 weeks at the racetrack if you'd let him. So I'm going to spray that with that mint green, and then I'm going to spray a bunch of the white on it, trying to lighten it up a little bit. And it works. It does. I had to put quite a bit on, but it worked, and I eventually got the look that I wanted. So I was happy with it. And I'm going to take my black Sharpie again and outline the bottom 3 sides of that die cut, and I'm going to outline around the very outside and the inside cut out piece of that frame. I eventually smudge it a little bit. It's smudged on my layout, but I like it anyway. Next time I'd heat set it and actually give it a fighting chance to dry on the shininess, but it's okay. I'm happy with it. So I'm just putting those into place. Sorry if you hear squeaking, it's my chair. I need a new chair. Then I'm just kind of fussing with it there and seeing exactly where I want to put the die cut and the cut apart and the Ormolu cut apart. Now I'm going to go through the sticker sheets and everything else and kind of work on my titles. So these are from Amy Tangerine. They're foam rubber letters and they're in charcoal. It doesn't give me a font on these as to what they are, but they're simply fantastic. I really like this skinny little font. I think it looks great. And that's just my EK Success centering roller. And I'm just going to put them on there. Put the words on there first so that I can see exactly where I want to set them on the layout in the end. So, and the title of the layout is going to be Track Rat. I have like my aunts and my uncles and everybody drag race, and I grew up out there, and Caleb loves it out there. He'll spend, like I said, weeks and weeks out there. And those are from the Finley collection, and they're the alphabet and word sticker sheets. And I'm just using the ombre, the teal ombre, because it goes really well with the rest of the papers. I was looking at the lime green, but I had no green in the layout anywhere else. I had, a little bit of that yellowy green in the one feather that goes on later, but and then I'm fighting with it, trying to get it into the packaging, which is going to drive you guys nuts, and then it eventually angers me, so I don't, and I put it away. Okay. So I know that I want the track right above that hello paper there, so I put that one down right away. And then I'm not sure if I want to put the rat on the side or on the hello paper. It eventually ends up going beside the hello paper instead of on top of it. So now I'm just pulling the adhesive that comes, pulling off the protective backing off of the adhesive that comes already on the picture frame, the Polaroid die cut there. And now we're going to adhere our die cuts, the die cut piece, and the Ormolu cut apart. And then I start fussing with what I'm going to use to take these off because I broke the tip off of my craft knife and I don't have any replacement blades and it was driving me crazy. So I end up pulling out my scissors and then I eventually just do it with my fingers. It's starting to get irritating. Then I'm mucking with the feather that never does make it on the layout, and then I decide that the rat is going to go there. And And I'm outlining that ormolu cut apart just so it matches everything else. And the other one as well, because it's going to end up in the top right hand corner of the layout right there. And I'm going to pull out some washi tape. I don't know where I put it, but it is from the October This Life Noted kit. So, and I'm just going to use one piece of it right up there at the top, and that's all that I'm going to use of that. So, and then I played the flare and decided that I don't like that. And then these are those candy pieces that came in our kits. And I decided to use the red one with the white hearts at the bottom corner, and I'm going to use the white one with the black words up at the top with that other banner piece. So I lose a piece of the sugar dots from School Memories from Prima. I take one of those off to put that candy dot in, and then I add 2 more of those sugar dots up the top. This is a bag I have of labels and tags and tabs and all sorts of stuff that I cut out on my Cameo when I'm sitting down here and have no idea what I want to do. My room is in the basement, so I just cut sheets and sheets and sheets of it, and that little tag that I pulled out with the chevron I'm actually going to use as a mask. So I've got, yeah, like that whole bag is just full. And then there's some printables that I have from the Silhouette store that I've cut apart and just kind of stuck in there in case I ever want to use them. So there's my spray box. You can see how I'm going to use it as a mask. And I'm going to use that mint green Heidi Swap spray again, and I just did a light little mist on it this time. And dry that, and then I'm going to tuck that in there. Then I'm looking at the Finley Titles and Accents sticker sheet, and I'm going to take that black and yellowy green little feather, and I'm just going to, it's going to take me a couple of minutes because I'm going to muck with it so that it's sitting on the piece from my Cameo and then pointing at Caleb as well. Sorry, and then I'm putting 3 more of the sugar dots up there. And now I'm going to cut apart a bunch of foam tape, and I'm putting it underneath just to pop up little sections of all of my layers. And then I end up doubling it up and doing a little bit more. We're getting close to the end, guys. Yay! So it just kind of gives those layers a little more definition, and then they're not going to be completely flat when they're put into my book. When they're, yeah, they don't get flattened right out. So you always get to see that little bit of dimension and everything in all the layers. And my voice is a little funny because I've been fighting off a cold, in case you're wondering. Now I'm just going to add my journaling. And it's just talking about how Caleb's completely obsessed with cars. When he was 6 months old, he would sleep for like 5 hours straight out there through all of the noise. And now he'll spend all day out there. And I don't know if you can tell in any of the pictures, but he does have earmuffs on. His ears are completely protected. There's no worry that way, just in case anybody's wondering. But he adores being out at the track for hours and days on end. So that's the end of it, and now I'm going to show you, and then I decided to pull back and actually zoom in to make it easier on myself. And I'm going to show you a few close-ups of my layout. And zoom back out. And then I'm going to wave bye-bye. Thanks for watching.